Hello, everyone. I'm back from yesterday. Christopher Morency, the editorial director at Highsnobiety, speaking today for Copenhagen Fashion Week, the digital edition with Silas Adler from Soulland, whose video we just saw. There he is. What's up, my man? Good seeing you. I'm not sure I can fully hear you, but maybe you have to turn up the volume a bit.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, there we go. The everlasting technical issues. Congrats on the new
That's
collection. I just watched it a few times with the video that Tina, who works with Soulland, sent over earlier this morning. I just watched it again on the screen. It's pretty interesting to see that you guys did it in your office this time. Obviously, in line with the theme of working from home. I know that you guys have done collections before based in Fredericksburg, where you guys are based. Can you speak a bit about, this idea of home now more than ever, and especially the decision to kind of keep it in line with what you before?
yeah. I don't need to speak much about the situation that we're in. Obviously, everyone knows what's going on in the world right now and how it's affecting basically everyone. And we wanted to do something where we were very honest and where we really took it down to earth. And this is our women's presentation. We just did a men's presentation where the collection was shot at home on the talent. So it made a lot of sense just to be in Soulland's home. This is where we do our collection. This is where we do our work. This is where we develop the brand. This is us. So it was pretty obvious just to open the doors and do it there.
And that's always been a big part of the brand. I want to tap into this specific collection in a minute. But this idea of showing this collection in your office, people showing it at home, fits in line as well with what you guys have put out a few months ago. Your first annual sustainability report, really opening the doors figuratively, so to speak, of what's behind the scenes. Now, speak to
Mhm.
me a bit about this. I've gotten to know you a few years ago, and I've always found Solon such an open brand in terms of its network, what it stands for. You guys have always been very transparent in that respect. Speak a bit about that transparency and that importance of it now more than ever for brands, and specifically for you guys.
Solan is a very personal brand. It's been very much based on me and Jacob and our personal vision and also our personal developments. And this idea of like sharing our knowledge is pretty. We couldn't do it any other way, and we come from backgrounds where like unity and collaboration is a big part of it. So it's the only way we know how to also develop ourselves. When we share our knowledge with others, people tend to share their knowledge with us, and um, we only get stronger from that. So it's really in line with everything we do.
And with this collection in specific, I saw that there were some carryover items. I think you've called it in the past something around, a family of textiles, where both out of necessity want to work with similar textiles that you have done in similar seasons or past seasons. But it's also this idea of continuity, I guess, from the men's to the women's, from one season to the other. And this
Mhm.
season, I saw specifically just looking at a lot of the florals from this season came back, but also a lot of the cotton, some of the bomber jacket cuts, this idea of gender
Mhm.
gender fluidity, but also seasonless approach. Talk a bit
Mhm.
about this idea. I always find really interesting when brands have this evolution over revolution approach, that you don't have to
Mhm.
create something completely new from last season. Is that something that's new?
It's something that we are getting more and more aware of, and it's something that also came from necessity. And actually, the sustainability paper that we released in November 2020 was working with that way, made us realize that for us to really step up. And we've been working with sustainability for almost 5 years now, but the thing with working with that is that you always have to set the bar higher and higher and higher. And one of the things that we want to do is that we want to get to 100% either organic, recycled, or dead stock textiles.
Mm.
And in order to do that, we need to develop less on a season to season basis, and we need to have, as we explained before, the family of textiles, where we have a group of textiles that we have worked with, and we know that are standing the measures that we want. And if we have to find like a complete set of new textiles every season, it's impossible to reach that goal. And we don't want to reach that goal within like 5-10 years. We want to reach that goal within. I mean, I want to reach it 2 years ago, you know. So it's really like figuring out like for you to really push that development, you need to change some very fundamental ways of working. And the textile family is the most extreme from like a design point of view. And then you just have to step up your game and make sure that you keep making the textile and the styles relevant from season to season. So it's a new way of working, but it's working.
I guess a good way to also bring in a bit of novelty is to create some narrative with the collections. And I know from last season, especially on the men's side, you guys had a trilogy, based off of walking and commuting, and then later the more spiritual journey. This time it's a new series, the first in the trilogy. I think this one's called Time Our Tyrant, very fitting with the times. Can you elaborate a bit about, the story that you want to tell and how this is going to evolve in the next few seasons?
I mean, this the new trilogy is called The Book, and it's basically it's inspired of knowledge and like the slow knowledge that are in books, as the opposite of the really fast pace of knowledge and information that we have in the digital world. And so this is the first chapter called Time Our Tyrant, and it's based on this idea that time is one of the few things in the world that human beings can't control in any way, and yet it's something that we are very obsessed with controlling. I mean, we want to shorten time, we want to prolong time, and we want to. I mean, the whole idea of eternal youth is basically like trying to fight time. And so this was the idea, and this idea that if you take something beautiful and you try to manipulate the time frame of the thing being beautiful, then you destroy the thing, or you create a new shape. I mean, so that's the whole floral idea of like trying to prolong something beautiful, and then from like being this very beautiful flower in the creative's vision, it becomes like something that are just like morphed and weird and also beautiful, but not the like original form. So that's that story, and then we are continuing with like other stories that are like based on knowledge and information. So it's a nice way to work. Again, this idea of like that instead of like telling a new story, working with a new story every season, the idea of like having something that continues, that you're like building bricks on top.
I'm going to have to hit you guys up for some of the pieces we're on. Quick one before we log off. Where can people find this sustainability paper that you guys wrote a few months ago?
I mean, the sustainability paper is you can just download it from our website, and the idea is that we put it out Black Friday every year from now. So the first one is like that's step one, and there's two important things with the sustainability paper. One, of course, like to show the transparency, and also for other people to have access to our knowledge, but also for us to like as like an annual report on finance, that we have something that we can really go back and look, what did we do, what worked, what didn't work, so we really can push the progress in this matter in the company. So it's I'm really excited to like, now we did it once and there's a lot of learnings, and we want to like ultimately we want to try to figure out how we can create a tool that can actually monetize all these aspects for small companies that we could share with other companies. So I mean, there's no reason for every small company to having to figure out how to report all these things if a couple of them can actually figure it out and share with the rest. So that's that's a goal that we have to figure out how can we monitor it and share this knowledge with others so they can also do their own
Open source in a
research.
way, yeah. Well, I definitely urge everyone to download that. It's pretty interesting to see how Soulland does it from their perspective, but also how you can use it for your brands, big or small. I know that's all the time that we have. Silas, let's catch up very soon outside of this call. And thank you everyone for logging on. This was Silas from Soulland and Christopher from Highsnobiety speaking about Soulland's latest women's wear collection. Speak soon.
Bye bye.